Good morning, guys. Welcome to Discover Tai Chi Live. My name's Phil.
Hi everyone, I'm Helen. Thank you for joining us this morning. So we're Discover Tai Chi. If you've not joined us before, we do evidence-based Tai Chi. We look for all the best bits so we can bring them to you in a really nice, fresh, innovative format. So makes it fun and easy to learn, and just bringing you all the best bits really. So do say hello if you're joining us, and we've got a good morning already from Pat. So hi Pat, thank you for joining us.
Hi Pat, good to have you with us. We've got other folks joining us, so do say hello and welcome to our live stream. So what is Discover Tai Chi, Hal?
So we're a small enterprise. We can be called a social enterprise because our purpose is about bringing Tai Chi to people who might not otherwise practice it. So we specialize in making Tai Chi accessible by making the forms not so combative. Would that be a good word?
Well, we use specially designed Tai Chi forms with an emphasis on health and wellness. So they're often very short. They have an evidence base behind them, and that's something that really drives our focus for Discover Tai Chi, is that we relate everything we do insofar as we can to an evidence base. So our new Tai Chi Foundations program is supported by research papers. I think we're the only program who can actually say that with any confidence. We've got a clear rationale for the program and research that we can use to back up that rationale. So I would say there's not many out in the world who can do that. It's taken about 2 years to get there, but hey, we've got there. So that's what we do, and we're here to help educate and inspire people to enjoy these simple Tai Chi programs. And we're here to help healthcare professionals understand Tai Chi from an evidence-based perspective. No woo, no mystery, no Chi in whatever shape or form that people think about Chi, just good old down-to-earth evidence. So that's what we do.
So when do we do it and where are we? So this is a big question at the moment that you may be interested in, because we had some updates, didn't we, in the UK. So if you're watching this at a later date, we've just had an announcement from the government yesterday about moving into a new tier system as we move out of this lockdown. But
we don't know what's going to happen, because it all depends what tier locally in Bradford we fall into as to whether we can open any of our classes. So we will keep you updated, but for now, although you may be seeing news features on the TV or hearing them on the radio, they don't give you the detail that we need to know as a service to be able to say with confidence whether we can open or not. So bear with us. Wait until we've done the delving into the detail, and we'll make an announcement to let you know about the status of classes. Regardless, we have to be careful in any case. We can't just open classes simply because we can, because we have to be mindful of our responsibilities in not being a means of transporting COVID up and down the Aire Valley. Where else are we though, Helen? We're not just doing classes, are we?
No, so we're we will be on Zoom as well. So obviously we're here every Tuesday morning, every Wednesday morning we're on Zoom, and Tuesday afternoons we're with Dementia Friends Keighley, and Thursday lunchtime, just before lunchtime, with Limb Power. So there's a few different places you can find us online. Do put your details, if you're not on our newsletter and would like to be, please do let us know, because that's where our details will be of all our classes.
Drop us an email. Most of you will be getting our newsletter, but that's going to be, along with our Facebook page, the main means by which we get information out to you guys. Plus this live stream. This is why we have these little chats at the beginning, to give you some news updates. Where else can people find us, Hel?
So we're on our website. You can get our programs from discovertaichi.uk.
Yep.
So you can get us there. We'll have lots of links. Obviously, we've got lots of YouTube videos that people can just follow along. But if you want the teaching, if you want us to go through, because that's often the tricky bit, is knowing exactly what you're doing. We've got lots of courses that are going to be on their way. We've got our Tai Chi foundations up on the website already. There's a course. There's a nice, easy one called Tai Chi for Wellness, which is a great starting point if anybody hasn't done Tai Chi before. And watch this space, because we're going to have more courses on the way.
Yeah. So we're going to say a bit of a big thank you. It means I'm going to have to come a little bit closer to our laptop, and I'm going to share a screen. Let's go down. Bear with me.
Here we go.
And I need to share this screen.
So I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has been supporting us through all these lockdowns and restrictions, because we've always been very restricted, because we've always been in a top tier pretty much since this first lockdown. So many thanks to everyone that's been helping and supporting us along the way. Thank you to all our Patreon members, and a big thank you to our coffee supporters as well.
Yeah, we've had people buying us coffees simply because they like what we do, and they like and appreciate the fact that we offer this live stream, and have been doing so since March, as Helen says. And we had a little goal. If you go visit our coffee, it's coffee.com/Discover Tai Chi. Just do a search, or we'll put a link. At the time, we were struggling with an old cronky laptop, and therefore we set a little goal to see if we could get some money to contribute to this new laptop, which we are using as we speak. And we reached that goal with the help of all the people who have bought us coffees over the month. So yeah, thank you guys. It's really enabled us to keep going, and we really, really do appreciate those coffees that you have bought us, because boy, do we need them sometimes when our technology has a bit of a meltdown. But so thank you very much, everyone who's bought us coffees. We're going to change our goal. We're not getting rid of coffee.com, because there's a lot of people who just like it. We were quite surprised how well it's done, to be honest. And people do like it. It's easy. People like the idea of buying us a coffee. So we're going to keep it going. We're going to change the goal to something different. Maybe you've got some ideas. A trip to the Bahamas, where we can do the live stream from the Bahamas, would be nice. Let us know if that sounds a good idea, and we'll see. I'm only joking, but thank you guys. As I say, really appreciate it. So let me take that screen share down. What are we going to talk about, Hel?
So what came an article recently, about exercising when it hurts. So there's something that often stops people from exercising, is experiencing some pain. It might be new pain, or it might be ongoing chronic pain. So pain that's been around longer than 3 months, that's been investigated by a doctor or by a physiotherapist. It's still lurking around. They have hopefully told you that it's okay to exercise. Not everybody always asks, so it's good to clarify with your GP or physio, is it okay for me to carry on exercising? There are very few conditions that you shouldn't be exercising with. Exercising is known to be good for pretty much 99.9% of health conditions.
Yeah, shall I screen share this blog post?
So we're going to screen share a little blog post. We're going to link to it in the description, in the comments section, and we will just have a little chat about that before we get going. Won't be too long, but we just thought this was a really nice one. We know a lot of people do come to Tai Chi because they've been recommended it by a physio, because it is gentle and low impact. But there's some really good top tips. So this article is written by a physiotherapist who does have a specialism, has worked in persistent pain. And yeah, it's a lovely article describing kind of top tips really on how to go about that. And one of my top tips, one of my favorites, was that watch out for doing things that we think we should be doing. So sometimes we've been told it's good for us, and people say, yes, I'm going to get going, I'm going to do something because it's good for me, but they pick something that actually they don't enjoy very much.
Yeah.
That becomes a bit of a barrier in itself, doesn't it?
It does. Do activities you enjoy. Basically, don't do Pilates if you don't like Pilates. Don't do Tai Chi if you find Tai Chi as boring as watching paint dry. We'd rather you do an activity that keeps you active and engaged. That's the most important thing. And if you like Tai Chi and what we do, that's great. But our key message is pick activities that you enjoy. That's one of the key lessons, isn't it?
So yeah, absolutely. Pick something that you can keep going back to regularly. Pick something that's easy to do. And we've got so many choices at the moment. We've got some fantastic choices because everything's online, whether it be dance, all sorts of different movements. So, and picking something, maybe have a variety, maybe pick something on most days of the week. You can have a real selection to choose from. And the other great thing at the moment is that we can take our own time when we're doing it, because we may not be in a group, so we don't feel that peer pressure. If we're doing something online, we can spend our time doing it in our way. So it may be that if you're watching the video again, you pause it, you do a little bit, you pause, have a rest, have a drink of tea, and take your time so that we can really listen to our bodies when we're doing the movements. So that's the great thing about we're learning online, is we can go at our own pace. It's great learning socially because we often have somebody that helps us, that keeps the motivation going, but there's some real benefits to learning by yourself. It means you can do it when you feel ready to do it, and it means you can do it at your own pace. So
we're going to link to that article because it's quite a long one. It's by Tom Jessen, who's a specialist physiotherapist in pain management. So that's why we're linking to this article and talking about it. So we will put all the links in the chat box here, and we'll make a link on our Facebook pages. And in the next newsletter, we'll do a feature as well to it. So look out for that, because I think it's really important. It's something that we're very familiar with in our classes. There's so many people who join our classes who live with chronic pain or some form of health condition. And I think there's some excellent messages in there. So without further ado, is there anything else we need to be letting people know?
No, just to say, I don't think we've said hello to Ali yet. So good morning, Ali. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to all those folks that are watching later, those folks that are watching but don't have the ability to comment, because we know from some folks to say, yeah, we can see you. We can't write comments on the comments board. So good morning to all of you. Hello, good afternoon to those watching me later, and good evening to those of you maybe in another part of the world, watching it at a completely different time as well. So.
Okay, so Helen, are you going to get folks moving? I'm going to come back and we will continue our explorations of Bafa Wubu. Bafa Wubu, it's become popular enough with folks that we're going to actually create a course on our new website. So again, look out for that. We're going to start shooting video once this lockdown is over. We'll see what happens. As I say, watch out for news on that as and when we get to it. So I'm going to get out of the way. Helen's going to get in position, and then I'll come back and do some Bafa Wubu. Don't forget, ask questions, make some comments, let us know what's working well for you, and anything else. Even if you just like what we're doing, that would be great as well.
Okie dokie. So let's get moving. So it's up to you. You can stand up, you can stay sat down. So if you're standing, we're going to have a little walk on the spot. If you're seated, you might want to move the arms, see if you can get the legs moving a little bit too. But relaxing. Taking some nice even breaths. So just as if we're inhaling and enjoying a nice scent, have a little walk to get the circulation going. So always stay within your safe and comfortable range of motion, whatever that means for you. It's important when we do our Tai Chi that we do spend time tuning in and listening to what's happening. So I'm going to take a slightly wider stance and I'm going to get myself comfortable. I'm going to sort of try and relax down through the torso, so that allows my back to relax. A lot of people do find they have discomfort in their lower back. So try your best to find what's comfortable for you. So we do encourage you to try and imagine that you may be perching on an imaginary seat. So have a little play with that, see what feels comfortable. And the idea is to send your backside backwards so that you can find that imaginary seat. So play with that movement, see what it feels like. And we're going to begin by just rolling the shoulders forward. So that's a nice, easy, gentle roll. It's not a stretch so much as a slowing down, a tuning in. And time for ourselves. This is time to look after ourselves, to pay attention, to observe. And try rolling the shoulders backwards. So see the difference that makes. Observing. See what it's like to roll the shoulders around. Make it a very small movement, just to explore the difference between small movements and big movements. And then when you're ready, have a little shake out. If that's comfortable for you, a little walk on the spot, a little move of the arms if you sat down. Again, making sure that our breath is natural and relaxed. We're letting tension drop down the shoulders, down the back. Let's get in good contact with the floor. So I'm going to take a slightly wider stance again. I'm going to relax, and this time I'm letting my knees soften a little bit more. So I'm softening through those knees. So again, find what works for you, find what's comfortable. And we're shifting weight from side to side. So again, this is about slowing down, paying attention. Feel the weight through the feet. Observe the little toe edge and the big toe edge and the heel. So just paying attention to the whole foot. You might want to pay attention to the whole ankle, see how much it's moving and having to work to shift the weight from side to side. We're also using our torso to help us stay upright so we don't just tip over. So feel what's going on through the torso. See if you can relax it a little bit more. Feel the shoulders. Can they relax anymore? And then have a little walk on the spot. And I'm just going to step forward. We're going to swirl some paint. So just getting the wrists flexible. Go easy with this movement if your wrists get stiff or cold. And sorry, I should say more stiff in this cold weather. So just go easy, but we're painting little circles. You might want to imagine it's nice, warm paint, something nice and tactile. Really enjoy sweeping our hands through that warm water, something that helps us enjoy the movement. Explore changing directions. Explore the challenge of maybe moving in opposite directions. Taking nice, easy breaths to explore the challenge of changing directions. Have a little shake out. Be surprised how much tension creeps in just with a little bit of concentration. We can often start to tense up, so we need to actively let go. And that word in Tai Chi is sometimes called song, to let go, to actively let go of the tension that wants to build for many different reasons when we do our Tai Chi and in daily life. So if you're seated, this is going to be a good one because we're going to do ankle circles. If you're standing, you may just want to use something to balance, because we're going to do little ankle circles just as we've done with our wrists. Use something to balance, get the weight onto one leg, feel nice and balanced, and then nice, even ankle circles. Again, paying attention to what's going on, changing direction, and obviously stopping as soon as that standing leg has had enough. Swapping sides when you're ready, making sure you feel balanced. So take a moment to feel that balance. The aim is to tune in and listen. It's called interoception. When we tune in and listen to what's going on inside, it's called interoception. Turns out it's jolly important. So don't rush. Take your time. Have a little shake out and a whoop. The journey is kind of the point, and our practice, our ability to do interoception, ability to interocept, is that a word? Ability to understand what's happening in our body, improves the more we practice it, and we get biological changes in the brain that we can see happening. The more we pay attention and slow down and be a bit more mindful about what we're doing, that happens. So that's why it's a journey and not a destination in Tai Chi, because the journey is where we're getting the benefits. Okay, do one more movement and then Phil's going to come in and get us rolling. So we're just going to do a nice easy movement called open and close. So I'm stepping a little bit closer to the camera. I'm going to imagine that I've got a nice, it's a bit smaller than a football, and it's in front of me. It's not too close, not too far away. It's comfortable, and you'll notice that the elbows are relaxed, the shoulders are relaxed. So take a few breaths. Find a position that feels comfortable. Find a stance that feels okay for you. If you sat down, think about how you're using your torso. And when you're ready, we're going to let that football expand, and then we're going to push it closed. So it could be a balloon that's getting blown into, so it expands, and then we let it come together. You may want to imagine pushing. So it could be like sticky dough that we pull and sticky dough that we push. Try and keep that relaxation going. Nice, easy breath. Just tuning on to whatever's happening. Just checking in on the relaxation. Taking our time. And when you're ready, have a little walk and a shake out. So I'm going to hand over to Phil now. Phil's going to come in and take you through some of the Bafa Wubu. If you've got any questions, do write them in the comments box or drop us an email and we'll do our best to answer them for you.
Hello guys, so we'll do a review of Bafa Wubu Part 1. That's what we've been learning over the past few months, and then we'll explore some of those steps as well that we've been exploring. If there's any questions, do place them in there. I'm just going to have a look and see if we've got any questions. We haven't. Okay, so let's have a review. We can do this sat down or stood up for Part 1. You decide. I'm going to be standing up. First of all, I'm going to face the camera. I'm not going to mirror either. I'll leave that up to you, whether you want to mirror or not, or whether you just want to watch. It's a simple little review of Part 1, the Bafa, or 8 methods. Everything is about hands and arms, but the drive comes from the legs. So I've got a shoulder width stance. I'm sitting down in that stance, and I'm going to remain in that stance. If you are sat down, make sure you can sit forward in the seat and make sure those trunk muscles of yours are engaged as well. Okay, so here we go on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Just picking up into the opening sequence of Qi Shi. And then on my right side, we start ward off, roll back, press, and push. And then a grip and a pull down to the right. Pushing the hands, parting. And I've done that completely wrong. Oh, what a mistake that is. Let's start again. Sometimes I need Helen to help me here. Here we go. Let's go again. 1, 2, 3. Down we go. It's because we've been practicing forms before and now I'm amalgamating them all together. Let's go again. Qi Shi. Ward off. Roll back. Press. Into a push. And then it's a grip and pull. And I missed the sweep out. There you go. There's the sweep. There's the elbow. There's my shoulder. Excuse me, guys. Then we go onto the left side. And you wouldn't think I've done this over 30 years, would you? Push, grip, sweep, elbow, shoulder. And then we can finish, maybe just nicely, with our little flourish at the end. Hey ho, I'm now going to turn and give you my shoulder so we can review those movements with you being able to follow as if in a class. So again, let's have a go. Promise not to make any mistakes this time. Hey ho. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Qi Shi. Ward off. Roll back, press, and push. Here's that grip, pull down to the right hip, sweep the hands forward. I'm going to turn, you stay where you are. There's the elbow, down into that right shoulder, like so. We pick the ball up, carry it to the left. I'm going to give you my left shoulder now. And off we go. Left side. Back. Press. Push. Grip. Pull down to that left hip. Sweep the hands. Let me again turn. You can see elbow rolling. And down to the left side. And then we can finish. Like so. So that's a review of what we've been learning over the months. I'll have to either go back and review some of our live streams to find out more of the details, or wait until we begin to start to film individual sequences for our new course on our website. We're going to look at the steps now And last week we started combining ward-off steps with those initial movements. So that's what we're going to have a look at again. Remember, Bafa is 8 methods, Wubu 5 steps, and the 5 steps or 5 directions are either forwards, backwards, to my right or my left, and always back in the center. Those are your 5 directions. Okay, so let's have a go at our steps with ward off. Again, I'm not going to mirror the camera because we alternate the step as we go. Okay, so this is my right side. I just want to make sure that you know that I'm going to be on that right side. When we finish the first part, the Bafa part, we finish down here with a push to the left. And I'd like you to simply pick the hands up, left hand on top, right hand underneath, hold the ball. We're going to carry the ball and we're going to turn out the right foot as we do, and then we're rolling that ball over, right hand on top. I'm going to step in and close my stance. I'm balanced on my right leg, open the stance into bow stance and push into ward off. This right hand of mine is hip height. I'm pushing the back of the hand away, the ward off at about shoulder height or heart height. We're going to drift our weight back. We're going to turn out the toes of my left foot, going to let them go flat. And from that ward off, I'm going to come in to hold the ball with the left hand on top. I'm going to step into bow stance with the right foot. It's disappeared, but it's not important because I push forward into bow stance and that ward off. Right hand forward, left hand down at the left hip, like so. I'm going to reverse that. So we're going to reverse it all the way back. Closed stance, back into there. Reversing a sequence. Practice reversing those sequences as well. It really helps you understand where we're going and what we're doing. Let's do that again, one more time, and then we're going to bring in the roll back movement that we learned in part 1. Remember, ward off, roll back comes next. So that's what we're going to do after this step sequence. Make sure you've got some room for 2 steps in front so that you can do this. Okay, so we're at the end of part 1. There's the finish, left hand side. And I'm picking the hands up into hold the ball, left hand on top, turn out the right foot, close the stance, balance on the right leg, hold the ball, right hand on top, bow stance with the left leg, and there's the first ward off. We roll the weight back a little bit, turn the toes out of the left foot, and we step up with the right foot, close the stance, left hand on top. Here's the second ward off, right leg leading. So rolling back. So we just imagine the fingers have cotton on the ends, tied around each finger end, and someone pulls the fingers out, like so. And then we bring our weight back as we do that draw back down to kind of hip level with the hands, like so. And then we're going to step back in if we wish to catch our balance. And then we're picking the hands up as we step back with that right foot. And now we're drawing back down to the right, like so. Down like so. Down to the right hip. Okay. Let's just finish there. That's probably more than enough for you to be going at that point in time. Let's do that again. Okay, I'll do that once more coming towards the camera, and then I'm going to turn my back and do it so that you can follow along. Okay, so just one more time facing the camera. So at the end of part 1, the Bafa, and we're on the left side, we're going to pick the hands up, hold the ball, turn the right foot, roll the ball over, a movement we do so many times in our classes. Step into bow stance, left leg, ward off. Weight back, turn out the left foot, step up. We're catching our balance at this point, but it'll change as we go forward. Step with the right leg, ward off. Fingers get pulled out. Here's the first roll back. And we can step in as we do the second roll back, just like so. For now, down to the hip on the right side. Okay, just going to move this box out of the way. Going to turn my back and we'll do the same movements, but now you've got an opportunity to follow. Okay, so let me turn. We're at the end of part 1. There's the left-hand side here, and I'm going to hold the ball on the left side. I'm turning out the right foot and closing that stance. First bow stance and ward off. Rolling back, turning out the toes, closing the stance, left hand on top, left bow stance, ward off. Fingers extend, roll back, left hip with the hands, step in, and then step back to the right and roll back as well. Hands at the right hip. And we can step back in as well, like so. Any questions? I appreciate for people who are sat down, this bit of the form isn't really suitable, but you've got all of part 1 to go at, and there's lots in there that we can help you with as well. If you have some questions where we can dig into the details. I'm going to do that one more time before we kind of bring things to a close. And then don't forget, you can review these videos to your heart's content because they're all up on our YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm going to turn my back. Let me get in position. My feet are hidden just a bit, but it doesn't matter at this point. Left-hand side. There's the finish of Bafa, the 8 methods. Finishing on the left side. Hold the ball on the left side. Turn the toes out on the right foot. Roll the ball. And we've stepped up, right hand on top. Bow stance, left leg. Ward off. Weight goes back, turn out the left foot, step up, catch your balance if necessary, left hand on top, and then we step into bow stance. Right leg leading, left hand down. Fingers get pulled out, and we roll back. Hands down to the left hip, and step in. We pick up the hands and we roll back again. Hands come to the right hip and we can bring that left foot back in. Quite tricky steps actually, because it requires us to step on diagonals. If you've noticed, I'm stepping from one diagonal to another and then back. It's a bit like a dance, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. Like so. So think of it a bit like a dance if you also want to have that feel for it. It has a nice rhythm to it as well. I can see someone's made a comment. Let me come in. I'm hopeless at mirroring, so find it much easier when your back is to the camera. Any tips on how to mirror? Well, as you can see, Ali, sometimes I'm quite good at mirroring and sometimes it blows a confuse in my brain. There's the best way to kind of learn to mirror is to just do one little piece of movement at a time and just practice it yourself, mirroring it in your own head as you go through the movement. As you'll notice, I've got to speak from your perspective at the same time, which is an even bigger challenge because I'm now having to physically perform a movement and then speak from the different perspective as well. That's why sometimes I do go awry, and I do apologize. It's quite a skill, Ali. It's quite something that you just need to practice a little bit at a time, and slowly but surely your brain just begins to make sense of it. But it is a bit of a task, and if you've not had much sleep or you're fatigued, it can all go awry rather quickly. But don't worry about it, nothing bad happens. That is my top tip, that I don't think there is an easy way of mirroring apart from just having a go. So it might be that you watch this video again and you just choose a little segment and you just try to mirror what I'm doing. So I did point out my right side, if you noticed at the beginning. So that might be that when I point out my right side, you're pointing out your left side. Sometimes just physically touching, physically waving, physically moving the bit that you want to mirror is a good way of actually getting your brain to understand, oh, it's this leg, it's that leg. But I hope that helps. It's quite a skill, as I said, and there's only kind of one way to get to grips with it, and that's to try a little bit at a time and slowly build up. Again, I've had the opportunity to do this over many years of teaching where you mirror. Sometimes it comes very easily, and other times, as you know from class, I mix it up, don't I? But it doesn't matter. It's good for our brains just to try and figure things out. So I hope that answers your question, Ali. Just have a little go and see how you get on. Just let us know as well. Any other questions or any other comments before we, excuse me, bring things to a close? Let me run through that maybe one more time. And again, I'll turn my back because I do appreciate mirroring is difficult. So we'll have one more opportunity to follow along. So we're finishing on the left side. Hold the ball, right hand on top, turn out the right toes, weight shift, we catch our balance, there's the right hand on top, bow stance, stepping diagonally onto the left leg, but we're forwards, there's the first ward off. Weight goes back so I can turn the toes out. Step up with the right foot, hold the ball, left hand on top, right bow stance, and now ward off. Fingers get pulled out and we draw them back. We're sitting down into this back leg. Step back and then to the diagonal. On the right side, pull the hands back and we can bring our foot in. Just like so. The next step for next week is directly to my left, like so. Let me show you, don't do it, but we're down here. I'm going to pick my hands up like so, step, and we're going to come across like so. So that's just to give you an indication of where we're going next week, okay? We're stepping to our left. So you'll notice that as we move into these 5 directions, or the Wubu, or the part 2 part of this form, we really do begin to move in directions quite dynamically. It's very different from much of what we've done in many of our classes, in that we move quite dynamically in this new form. So again, it's not necessarily applicable for everyone, But again, we're getting nice feedback from people that they do like the feel of this particular new form from China. So we do as well. And that's why we're teaching you now on this live stream. It is an experiment in teaching, as we can't see you. So it's always good to get your feedback and questions. So thank you so much. We will be posting links to Tom Jesson's blog, the specialist physiotherapist in pain management, that we talked about at the beginning. We will post those links in the chat. We will post those links on our Facebook page and group, because we think it's a really important blog for so many people, again, like me, who live with chronic pain. And we'll put it in our next newsletter. We may be getting a newsletter out to you quite soon once we get news from the government and the various organisations that manage sport in the UK, once we know whether we can open a class or two again. We will let you know as soon as we get the news, but for now, we're not going to hold our breath just yet based on the kind of general announcements that we've had. And don't forget to check out our new website. We have courses there. If you're a member of Patreon, check out for a post that Helen and I are going to make on our Patreon members page, because we're going to offer you a discount code for 100% off. How about that? To come and pick a course on our new website. So look out for that. And if you've been buying us coffees, buy us a coffee. It really keeps us going. It's been so important to enabling us to manage to keep going over these months, because we've got very little coming in. So every little bit helps. And I think that's it. Don't forget, if you like these live streams and you like our YouTube channel, that you can subscribe as well. And that way you keep updated with latest video uploads and things like that. I think I've done everything. Helen, have I done everything? Helen gives me the thumbs up from the side. So that means I'm going to head towards the laptop, and I'm going to bring this little live stream to a close. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day, and we will see you next Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.